My name is Ritu Sharma and I'm from India, and I am born and brought up in Himachal Pradesh, and I have completed my high school in commerce stream, and after that I have done my graduation from Punjab University Chandigarh in humanities, and after my completing my graduation I have worked for 1 year for a hospital as a receptionist and accountant, and after that for pursuing my master's in management I came to France and joined ICN Business School.
Okay, great, great, Ritik. So, like, how did you finally decide that you wanted to study in France? Because a lot of students select all the major study destinations like UK and Ireland specifically if they want to pursue their higher education in Europe. So, how did you decide that you want to pursue your master's in France?
So one of the basic thing is that I was looking for a country who is well cultured and sports students. And so while I was looking for my master's in management, I came to know that the world best business schools with triple accreditations are mainly in France. So that's why I choose France. And coming to ICN Business School, I have shortlisted other business schools also. For example, Neoma, Schema, and ICN is one of my in the list. So the thing is that why I choose ICN and France, because ICN suits my budget. I don't want to spend more than that. That's why I school ICN. And coming about to France, France sports students very well. They have some aids and benefit. For example, here for students, they have medical insurance from the government. For the international student also, the government can bear your 70% of your medical expenses, and apart from that, they also give you some house accommodation aid, which is known as CAF for students. So that's helped a lot, and that's make a difference between other countries and France.
Okay, that's great. So that was quite insightful. So thanks for sharing all the details. And like, how was your experience with Shiksha once you started like counseling process and like when you connected with the counselor? So how was your experience with Shiksha and like what
Yeah.
all options did you get via Shiksha?
So it was good and smooth with Shiksha. Of course, whenever I get some problem and trouble, I just call my counselor directly and they always answer me and try to calm me down and tell me, okay, this is the problem, but this is also the solution. So that's a very good thing with Shiksha. And that's what makes Shiksha different from other platforms. And basically, why I choose Shiksha, because I really want to come to France, and I have chosen ICN Business School, and it was in the list of Shiksha Abroad, so that's why I choose Shiksha Abroad to be my guided partner in my journey.
Okay, that's great, great, Richard. And once you started your journey in France, did you have to go for any sort of prerequisite examinations before that? So, does ICN require any sort of like language test or any other prerequisite examination before applying to the campus itself?
Uh, in the application process, when I was applying, there was no such requirement like GMAT or
Mm,
GRE,
mm,
or well, they need English certificate from whether it can be from your school or from your college, but you can also submit your IELTS, TOEFL, or TOEIC score. It will also gonna work, but when you come here, it is mandatory for you to submit your TOEFL score of English. That was I came to know about when I came to the orientation day. So that's the main
okay.
difference. You can join the ICN Business School before having these examinations, but after
Mhm.
during your completion of your course in 2 years, you have to submit your scores by 2 years.
Okay, great.
It
So there's no as such
it's
specific
mandatory.
examination. Okay, so the only requirement is your English test, like you can go for either TOEFL or IELTS, right? And
Yeah,
what's
you
the
can go
minimum band?
for minimum band is approximately around 6.5 or 7 in IELTS, and it
Okay,
approximately equals to the TOEFL too.
okay, great. And what's the average CGPA that the university is looking at to apply to? So what's the minimum percentage for the programs, master programs at ICM?
So for the master's program, I must say that it just depends on school to school because every
Hmm.
school have their own requirements. So you have
Exactly.
to shortlist your university or your business school according to your profile. For
Hmm.
example, I have done my high school diploma with 91% in commerce, and I have done my humanities in graduation in humanities with 73% overall. So I have a good background, you can say good academic background. So that's
Exactly.
why they accept me. So if a school is not that much known or that much well reputed, they might accept you for low scores too. So you
Hmm.
have to think, or students have to think according to their profile.
Okay.
There
Great.
is no
Great.
such requirement. For ICN, I think in graduation, 70% is a good percentage. Yeah, it's good to go.
Okay, great. And you have to go for any sort of interview as well before the like
Yeah.
application process? So how was that experience? So what sort of questions were being asked and like how did the interview got scheduled? So if you can share a bit experience for that as well.
Yeah, sure. So when I applied to ICN Business School, I got shortlisted for the interview, and I must say that the interview is the game changer, where you have to convince the school to accept you according to your business projects, what you want to pursue in your career, and why you want to join ICN Business School, and how ICN Business School will gonna boost your career, whatever you want to do in your life. So that's the main thing that you need to convince the school. In the interview, I have some questions like what have you done in your previous studies and why you want to join IC Business School, and what are your key elements which you define to stand up among the crowd, and what makes you different from others.
Okay.
These are just normal questions, not very, sophisticated
Mhm.
questions, normal one.
Great, great, Richard. So that
So,
was quite insightful.
yeah,
Yeah, thanks a lot.
the thing is that it just depends on you, what you want to do. If you are not getting your course in Iceland Business School, or you are not getting your course in France, don't come to France, go to other countries where you are getting your course.
Mm-hmm. All
Don't
right,
come as
that's
an
great.
immigrant, just
Hmm.
like I want to settle in
Exactly.
France. No, this will not gonna work, okay? They will gonna the school will gonna notice this and reject you.
Okay. Yeah, most of the students, like specifically from India, their main aim is to get PR as to like anyhow they just want to enter the country and they think that just with studies they just want to do their job and try to get the PR thing done.
France is not the case. I must tell
Okay.
you, after being here for 7 months, France is not the country for you if you're coming
Hmm.
as an immigrant. No,
Okay. Great. So thanks for the update. So most of the students will get to know that should not select France as a destination
no,
if that is what their main aim is. Okay.
yeah.
Great. And like, how is the campus life and faculty? So, like how have your experience been in ICN, specifically with the faculty? Like,
Yeah.
how friendly is the faculty with international students?
The faculty is very friendly with international students. They have a
Hmm.
separate department which deal in international services, and they always gonna listen you what your problem is, and they
Hmm.
will also gonna help you as much as they can. But the thing is that you might get some issues with the management. For example, managing your exams, you are not getting your attendance registered. These are some technical issues which can be sorted out. But overall experience is ICN is very good. Professors are very friendly. Of course, the culture is different from India. You can directly approach a professor in a very friendly way, and they will gonna help you a lot, and you can also tell them your personal problems, and they will also gonna help you in that too, because they know that you are an international student and you don't know French, and French, I must say, that is the basic need here. So
Hmm.
you just depend on the ICN to get your things done. And plus, the students, other French students are also good with you. You don't have some, what I can say, some weird thing, just like racism here, it doesn't exist. I don't feel like that in the simple way.
Okay. Great, great. So, like coming to French, so did you do any sort of certification as well from India when you applied to ICN? Or you started learning French when you just landed and you observed that it's a very necessary and it's a basic necessity to basically to survive
Yeah.
that you should know
So
French.
I have done my own research before coming to France. I watched various interviews and followed various YouTube channels. And
Mm-hmm.
because in YouTube you can find various students who already made some content about coming to France. And there I came to know that French is the basic necessity here, and you have to learn French well. So before coming to France, I have done a A1 certification from an institute based in Chandigarh. And
Mm-hmm.
after that, when I get some hand in French, I started to learn by myself. I use Duolingo every day to practice my French. Plus, I also learn some basic vocabulary every day, one or two words every day to make my progression better than the previous day.
Okay,
So
that's quite great.
well, it just depend on student to student. They have to look their way how they get things done in a better way from themselves. Because the way I learn French, the other student cannot learn the way that I am learning.
Mm-hmm.
Because my skills and my learning process is different. I get when I learn things when I visualize them,
Mm-hmm.
but for a student, maybe a listening and a reading can make more progression.
Okay.
Sorry.
Great, great, great. Great. Yeah. So the session has been going quite good. So I would request all the students who have joined in to put up their questions in the Q&A box in case if you have some questions and you want to directly connect with Ritvik. So feel free to put your questions in the comment box or the Q&A box. So we'll be taking up your questions as well.
Yeah,
And
no.
Ritvik, like since French, like you have quite a bit like experience about learning French as a language, and you have done all the research beforehand. So, like, how difficult does it make for a student for part-time opportunities and like full-time job opportunities? Because most of the like, see, your course is being taught in English, right? So a lot
Yeah.
of students might not research that much, and they might not learn French. So they might just come up to the university once they are selected because it's not a prerequisite requirement also to learn French, right? So like, is it okay for them to get opportunities like part-time opportunities, or it's a very difficult thing because a lot of students might not know that you should have basic knowledge about French as a language. So how difficult is it for those sort of students there?
So coming to your question, I
Mm-hmm.
must say that if a student is coming to France, like what you said, he will
Mm.
going to cry
Oh,
because
that's quite.
France, he might not get a part-time job here properly.
Mm-hmm.
Because without French, even if I will gonna work for a company, if they need an English speaking person, they also
Mm-hmm.
at the same time need French speaking person. And that's what make a student hustle. Because in a part-time job, if you wanna approach a restaurant or any enterprise who are looking for some guy,
Mm-hmm.
you need French to have a basic communication. And if you are not able to even introduce yourself in French, they will not gonna listen you. They will gonna put your CV aside. Okay, bye bye, man.
Exactly.
So
So
that's
that
the
is one
thing.
important thing. So you should have basic knowledge about French, then only you should
Sure.
apply, even if you're studying like an English course there, right?
Yeah, it
All right.
because in the French job market, French is necessary.
Mm-hmm.
It's a top of the list. It's in top of the list. So for the French job market, for example, if I am applying to a job and I am also just in language skills, I'm mentioning English and Hindi, and where other students is mentioning Hindi, English, French, Portugal, Spanish. So of
Mm-hmm.
course the company will seek benefit from a person. So of course that other person has an edge on me. And the
Mm-hmm.
job market for English speaking person here in France is very much narrow. You don't
Okay.
have a lot of job opportunities. Plus
Mm-hmm.
the job opportunities which you have in France with English speaking language, they also look for a person who can communicate in French too. So you
Hmm.
can be a link between the globe and the French company.
Hmm. Okay, that's quite cool. So thanks a lot for listing that out so students can at least start working out on their vocabs, like French vocabs, and they can start their linguistic journey. Because French is like it's not that easy as well. German and French are considered two languages that are quite tough because the accent is also quite different. So you have to catch and work out on the accent as well, right? So students who are
Mm.
looking forward, they should at least start learning French then.
It just depends on person to person. For example, me, I haven't practiced my French. I started my French learning journey after coming to France, where I speak French with my friends. In my part-time job also, I speak French with clients. So whenever I get wrong, they correct me. They help a lot. So plus the thing is that without French, I don't think that you will gonna survive here. Survival is it's a difficult task here
Mhm.
without French.
Exactly. Being left out and not being able to explain yourself, it's obviously it might shatter up a person because
Yeah.
he or she won't be able to express themselves. So it's
Let
quite a thing.
let me tell you one thing. Even your course is in English, only the
Mhm.
professor will gonna talk in English, and the time when professor leave the room, nobody will going to talk in English. They all will gonna start the conversation in French. So you are alone again.
Exactly. Okay. So like point to be highlighted is that you should be well versed with French, right? To study in
If
France.
if you can speak French, if you know French, it's a heaven for you. The country is
Mhm.
great for you. But you should not consider only one point. Okay, I can speak French. I should not choose the destination in France, my destination as a France. But the thing is that you should see it as an opportunity to learn something new.
Mhm.
Are you getting my point? It will going to
Exactly.
pay you well in your future. And I think that 2 years in France, it's good for anyone to speak French if he wants to.
Great. Yeah, so this also gives up like this opens up new horizons and you should learn new language,
Yeah,
get better packages. So that is also
yeah.
quite a thing.
For
So students
example,
should take up that challenge.
for example, if after completing your graduation, you want to go to US, Canada, or whatever, wherever you want to go, or whatever you want to do, if the companies see that you can speak French, English, Hindi,
Mhm.
it's a very good thing. You can stand up among the crowd. For example, if you apply the job in UK, okay, man, everybody can speak English. There is no
Exactly.
difference. But if you can speak French too, okay,
Mhm.
you are something
That
apart
makes
from
you
the
stand
crowd.
out. Yeah, that
Yeah,
makes you stand out from the people and give you better opportunities.
yeah.
Okay,
That's my
so
point.
great.
Is
Great. And one of the biggest challenges that students like face from India and most probably like all over the world is like accommodation, right?
yeah,
So,
accommodation.
like how was your experience related to accommodation? So, if you can share your journey in that as well.
For the accommodations, you can use various platforms and website. For example, Flat Looker, which I have used while searching for the accommodation. Plus, you can also use Lobinco or Studapart. Studapart, my business school have partnership with Studapart, and we have a different portal for ICN over there. Plus, you can also apply for cruise. So cruise is some are some apartments which are sponsored by government to get students into it. So these are some government residentials in basic sense.
Mhm.
So you can
Okay.
apply to them too before coming to France.
Okay, great. And what's the average pay that a student might have to bear? Like, what's the cost of living, and what's the rent, including all the utilities that you have idea about it? Because one of
Yeah,
you are living in one of the accommodations, so you are living in off-campus accommodation, right? Or you are in an
yeah. I
on-campus
am
accommodation?
off campus accommodation.
Okay, so what's the cost that a student might have to pay up for the off-campus accommodation?
So it just depend on you, how a student want to live. For example, I have my 9-meter square room, which is small, but I think it's enough for me. So, and I paid for it, I paid 350 euros per month. I'm paying, and plus I get CAF, as I mentioned earlier, the government
Mm-hmm.
pays for you a little bit help. So after deducting my CAF, my rent goes down to 200 euros. So currently, in little sense, I am paying 200 euros per month,
Mm-hmm.
and it is depend on person to person. If your rent is more, for example 450 or 500 euros, you will going to receive more cap from the government. So initially your rent will gonna lie between 200 to 250 euros after the cap deduction. that's the
Mm-hmm.
that's the main point here.
Exactly.
And
So the
plus,
government is also helping out the students. So that is a
i must
very
say
big
that
thing.
I must say the French government, I'm an Indian citizen, they don't have
Mm.
liabilities to me, but still they are paying for me, and that make France good.
Exactly. So that's a
And
very good initiative because this is the first time that I've heard about like international university and the government helping out students specifically.
yeah,
So that's quite good.
so and plus, for example, I am in Nancy right now, and the city is quite small. But
Mm.
in Paris, the rent can be high up to 600 to 750 euros at the outskirts. Plus, in the city, it can be up to 1,000 euros. So I don't know about the Paris because I never been into Paris. But the thing is that I know some students who live in Paris, and their cost of accommodation and living is more than mine.
Exactly. Yeah, Paris is considered as one of the most expensive cities also worldwide.
Yeah,
So obviously the rent would be on a bit higher side. So still the government helping out international students is a very big initiative. So students who are looking forward to studying in France can like look out for opportunities like that as well. So that's great. And like, did you get any sort of scholarship as well before applying to ICN, from the government, or did you get initial scholarship, like upfront scholarship?
yeah. Before applying, you can apply for Erasmus Plus program. If you got selected in that program, you will going to have 1,200 euros per month, plus your accommodation will going to be free, and you also get some travel allowance from the government, and your
Mhm.
whole course will going to be sponsored by the European government. So you can apply to Erasmus Plus program. Plus, you can also apply to IFIL scholarship, which is again one of the biggest scholarship from the French government to international students to aid them while studying in France. But of course, it just depend on your profile too. Is your profile is enough good to you got
Mhm.
selected into those kind of programs? Plus, you can have a Chalk Cup scholarship, and plus, I don't remember the one. There is another scholarship. So before coming to France, of course, before selecting a university, you should also consider these options too. Can I get this scholarship? If you get the scholarships, okay, that's good. For example, in my case, I have applied for Chalk Cup scholarship, but they only selected 7 students from all India. So I don't get
Okay.
that. And
Okay. No
plus,
problem.
in ICN, I don't get literally a scholarship, but I get 10% discount on my tuition fees.
Okay. That's great. So you got
Yeah,
a flat 10% off on the total tuition fees that you had to pay.
yeah, that's
Okay.
true.
Okay. Great, great. So still you got much better opportunities as compared to a lot of students who study internationally from India. So that's
Yeah,
a very big achievement as well, Ritvik. And like for the part-time job opportunities, so we just had a question as well that was posted by I
yeah.
can't pronounce the name, it's VRAJH. So he posted what are the job opportunities available after completion of the course. So like since you have done international business and like you are doing a double masters there, so what are the job opportunities that you think might come up after completion of your course, and what are the usual jobs that are being offered to the students?
So after completion of my course, you can be a business manager. international business developer, where
Mm-hmm.
you will analyze the market, seek for expansion, and help to business to grow by consulting them or by making their strategies. Plus, what you can also be a you can also be in a business consulting job. You can open your firm in India or in France, no worries.
Mm-hmm.
Plus, I think that now the job market is more dynamic, so you have to be adaptable and flexible at the same time. It's not just like you have done something in international business, so you will going to stick yourself with only that. For example,
Mm-hmm.
in the next month, I will gonna join a company in the supply chain management department. So
Oh,
can you connect? I am in international
exactly.
business and I'm doing my internship in supply chain management. So the company
Mm-hmm.
wants me to adapt myself according to their requirement and according to the job
Exactly.
role. So just be
Mm-hmm.
adaptable and flexible and hug all the opportunities whatever you are getting. So that's the thing.
Okay. That's great, great. So
So
they are
no
still
specific,
accepting.
and yeah, they are accepting. Plus, it's hard to, you get a lot of rejection, of course.
Mm-hmm.
But I must say that the thing is that you should not only look for opportunities in your specialization, but also try to get some hand in other specialization. For example, international business development is a big horizon, which include marketing, finance, supply chain management. So you can apply to these departments too.
Okay, that's
Yeah,
great. So, apart from that, obviously the companies as well as the university has given you this opportunity. They try to help out the students to come out of the shell and do a multi-dimensional sort of a role.
yeah,
So, as per
that's
you,
true.
so that's a great opportunity as well. And I know, like we have discussed about faculty academics and we have discussed about job opportunities. The other thing that is important is the community, right? So, how strong is the Indian student community there? And since you are in Nancy, do you have a lot of Indian people there as compared to city like Paris? And like, do you celebrate Indian festivals? Like, how do you go about it?
In Paris, of course, you have big Indian community and
Exactly.
because their people speak English a lot, and
Mm-hmm.
their difference is not that much problem as I'm facing here. But
Mm-hmm.
I must say that in Nancy, the Indian community is not that much big. I think we are just about 20 to 25 persons, but not in ICN Business Schools. The other persons are doing their PhD with some other universities.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is that Indian community in small town is small, and in big cities like Paris, it's big. But here we don't celebrate Indian festivals, of course.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
And you can see that I am the only Indian student in my class, and others are from different countries. So if you are coming to Nancy in ICN Business School, definitely you will gonna get that foreign Bali vibe. You are a
Okay.
foreigner here. You are not going to see
Exactly.
any other Indian very often.
Okay. Great. And you get to like what all ethnicities are usually the students from? So, what all backgrounds do the students have that are studying with you in your course? So, are they
They
basically
are
like most of them are
from
from Africa? I guess a lot of
no,
students
no,
study
no.
no Africans. Okay.
No Africans. They are from Brazil, Mexico, Argentina, Morocco,
Okay.
Spain, and
Great.
China. So South Korea also. So there is nothing like this. Only African students are coming here to study.
Mm-hmm.
No, it's not the case.
Okay.
You will going to be in a multicultural kind of thing where you will going to learn a lot of new things about other cultures too. But
Okay. That's quite
the
cool.
yeah,
And
and plus you also have some students from fourth semester exchange at ICN from
mhm.
other universities, which are in USA, Canada, UK, Australia, okay, for one or
Okay.
two semesters.
So it's a multicultural sort of a university, and
Yeah,
specifically you, the only student being from India, so you get to learn a lot from a lot of different sort of cultures and lot of different sort
yeah,
of students studying there.
yeah,
Okay, great. And we got a question again from VRAJS, and he has asked us, "Thank you for answering my question. Can you please tell me about the post-study work visa?" So, what are the PSW options? I believe after 2 years of your course,
yeah.
what is the PSW at the moment that the French government is giving to the candidates?
So, France has a very good relationships with India, and Indian government has good relationship with French government.
Mhm,
So, especially for the Indian students, only in the case of Indian students, they are offering 2 years of post-study work visa, which we also call that job search visa. For
mhm,
2 years, you can stay in France. Nobody will going to ask any question from you after completing your course. After that, you need a contract from your company for which you are working to show the government why you are staying in France more than 2 years. And that's
mhm,
not the main difficulty because they will gonna get you the visa because you have sponsorship from the company.
mhm. Okay, that's great. So it's a 2 plus 2, 2 years of
Yeah,
study plus 2 years of work
yeah,
visa. So they've extended it to 2 years. Initially, it used to be for 1 year as well,
yeah,
when French and Indian government was not at a very good relationship. But still, it's a good thing that they have extended it to two
yeah.
years. That's great. And what sort of job opportunities are open? Like, obviously, you have just shared your international business experience and like what opportunities would be open up. What all sectors are at boom in France right now? Like, see, fashion is one of the most important sectors
Yeah,
because a lot of companies, fashion-based companies, are based in Paris. So, a lot of students do merchandising and
of
fashion-related
course.
courses. Other sort of what other sectors are at boom that students can look to, like the students can look to do courses related to those particular sectors.
Student can do luxury and design, and
Mhm.
finance is also the booming sector side by side. Plus,
Great.
marketing nowadays, especially the digital marketing, is
Mhm.
also is coming on the top. Why I'm more looking for digital marketing because after this COVID and all the pandemic, most of the companies get to know about the power of social media and getting more digitalized. So most of the companies are now looking for online content manager or digital manager, community manager, things like this. But
Mhm.
again, I must say that this should not be the point of consideration that, okay, if this sector is booming, so I should pursue a course in this sector. No, do whatever you want to do because once you get your good studies in that thing and you are good at your skills, the job will gonna come to you. You don't have to go to a job. For
Mhm.
example, in LinkedIn, I got a very interesting message from a company who want me to join as their business developer. So I
Okay.
haven't applied for that job, but that job come to me because of my professional background and my
Mhm.
academic background. So just invest in yourself. Don't look for a course of booming sectors, just look for a course in which you can boom.
Exactly. So that's quite great. And like all the sectors like fashion, marketing, finance are still a very good option, but you have to work out on yourself. So that is the main, like
Yeah,
you are giving us a guru mantra sort of a thing that students
perfume.
should work out on themselves.
Yeah, perfume, luxury, fashion brands, wines. These are some good options in France.
Great, great. And apart, like talking about wine, how's the food situation? I know that almost all the food being served in France is like cold food, right? So you
Yeah.
specifically being brought up in India, we are used to hot food like rice and dals. And if somebody prefers non-vegetarian, they have it as a like hot curry. So
Yeah.
how is the food in France? So how do you go about the food part?
So in Paris, of course, you can find some Indian food very
Mhm.
often because of the large Indian community. But in my case, I'm in Nancy, it's a small city, so you don't find Indian food very often. Plus,
Mm,
you can find some Indian restaurant where you can go, but you can't go there every day because those are very expensive kind of restaurants here.
mm,
It will cost you around 20 euros per meal, approximately,
oh,
if you want to eat in those kind of restaurant. In my
mm,
case, I miss my Indian food, especially my favorite one, Golgappa.
oh,
So, and yeah, it's very difficult to get your local food. So just try to adapt yourself according to whatever you are getting to eat. Don't, imagine that I will gonna cook this and this. Just
mm,
prepare something and eat and fill your stomach, go to studies, and then after go to job. That's all.
okay. So students who are very like into the foodie thing, but so they'll have a tough time to adjust. But obviously, the main objective is to settle and like make up your career. So
Yeah.
you'll have to give up on these things,
Yeah,
like
these
all
small,
these
small
leisure
things you
things.
have to give up actually. Maybe in
Hmm.
Paris, the situation can be different, but in my city, the situation is different. So it just depends on student to student. If you meet a student who is living in Paris, he might say
Mm,
that, okay, the situation is good, you are getting your Indian food, your Indian stuff. But if you
mm.
are having a conversation like a student like me, he will also going to give you a different side of the horizon, you know.
Oh, exactly. And like talking about Paris, have you been to Paris? Like taking out time from your studies and your part-time opportunities. So have you taken out the opportunity to visit Paris as a city and like
Uh,
check out all the
not
local destinations in France?
uh, actually, I haven't get the time yet, but
Okay.
my next destination and my company's work is in Paris. So soon I will going to
Hmm.
be in Paris, and then I will gonna explore all the opportunities. No worries.
Great, great. And like, have you tried exploring regarding the Schengen visa as well? So you must have heard about Schengen visa. Like, you get
Yeah,
a free pass to the Europe. So Europe is like a very like starry destination, like showed in Indian movies here. Most of the people look at Europe as a very cool place to like hang out to. So
yeah,
have
sure.
you tried? So that is also in your bucket list that you're planning to like visit all the countries.
Actually, no worries. It's in my bucket list, of course. I have Schengen visa and I can travel up to 30 countries.
Mm,
But I must say that don't follow those Bollywood kind of stuff. They are meant
mm,
for a purpose to entertain you, and the ground reality is always going to be different, and it is not for the entertainment.
exactly.
You like in my case, you have the access to 30 countries, but man, you need money to travel to those countries. If you
Exactly,
don't
yeah.
have money,
That
you
is what
can't
is not being
travel.
shown in the
So
movies. Exactly.
yeah, so
Yeah,
that's the
that is
thing.
what the main point is.
I don't have the money to travel, so what's the benefit of having the access to 30 countries? No. Plus the thing
Exactly.
is that plus the thing is that you can travel and stay in those countries up to 3 months, but
Mm,
after that you can't work there. You can't work. You will go as a tourist, you can be over there and you have to come back. You can't work there. If you need a work, you want to work
mm.
there, you need a work permit, and that's a separate process. That's the thing.
Exactly. Yeah, that is what the thing is. So everything is like going in a circle. So you have to first work, save a lot of money, then look at all these destinations. And then you
No,
might not be able to work. You can only be a tourist there. So everything comes in a round
yeah,
thing here.
that's the thing. But what I'm going to highlight one point that if you have a Schengen visa already, then it's easy for you to get a work permit in other countries which are in European Union or in Schengen area. So it's easy
Mhm.
for you to get another work permit in those kind of countries.
Okay.
Yeah,
So that's great. So we have covered almost all the topics, Ritvik, and looking at the questions being posted, so we have almost covered the questions as well that we got from the students. So I think we can conclude with the session. And I would like to thank you again for giving us your valuable time today. I know it's quite early there and you have to like start your weekend at very high
yeah.
spirits. So all the best for your weekends and have a great day ahead. And thank you again for giving us your time. So we'll catch up with you again in some coming months and do a similar sort of a session.
No worries. It's my pleasure to help students who want to come to France. And I must say that don't come to France if you want to be an immigrant and want to settle down here. And before coming to France, just learn French as much as you can. And plus look for a country, or look for, not for a country, but look for a course what you want to do. Okay, if you are getting your course in, for example, in South Korea, go to South Korea, no worries, because you
Mhm.
are getting your what you want to do.
Exactly.
That's
So,
the
like,
thing.
students should prioritize main on the course and the study that he or she has to do instead of the
Yeah,
other
that's the
perks
thing.
of being in a country.
Yeah,
Okay, great. So I believe all the students are listening and they would take up your advice, and most probably they'll make up a good career choice in the coming
yeah.
coming years. So thanks again, Ritvik. Have a great day ahead. It was
Have
a pleasure
a
having
great
you
day to
today.
you, sir.
Thank you.
No problem, sir.
Thank you,
Thank you.
Ritvik.